Everyone, I'm Dr. Lorianne Austin, and I just want to welcome you to your Spring 2025 online Calc 1 course. And I just want to give you a very brief, hopefully less than 15 minutes overview of how best to find the material, how best to learn the course, and what the expectations are to pass this course. So I wish everyone a great semester. I look forward to talking to you online and possibly even meeting you in person or on Zoom. So let's get started. Okay, what you're looking at now is what you'll see when you first turn on your course. It's just a home page, very brief, just gives you a summary of the tabs you're going to use. So what you will do is click on modules. This is where you're going to find all your information, how you can get your course material, the syllabus, and everything else. This is where all the modules will be, and we will go through everything briefly. The modules are broken down by weeks. So let's start by just taking a brief look at that syllabus. Keep in mind, there is an expectation that you will fully read this on your own. I know it's not the most exciting thing in the world, and if you have quite a few courses, you've got quite a few syllabi to go through. But let's just highlight those things that you do need to know for the semester. Of course, all of the information. When my office hours, you can always find me in the office Monday to Wednesday, 1 to 2:30. I am in a classroom every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 1. I'm not normally on campus on Fridays. So Monday, Wednesday, if you want to stop by Canvas, stop and see me, 1 to 2:30 is the best time to do that. Other than that, I'm happy to do some virtual appointments. Here are some good times, but either way, just send me an email. We'll set up a time. It does not have to be within these times. And I'm happy to have a Zoom meeting with you. All right, our department chair info. Now, the textbook real quick. We'll be using an online version of the textbook. You, of course, are welcome to buy a hard copy of your textbook, especially if you're a student going on Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3. My recommendation, if you're going to buy the textbook, maybe look for an earlier edition. It doesn't have to be exact. In fact, all Calc textbooks tend to be pretty much the same. This book will stay with you for every Calc course you'll take at RV. So if you know you're only taking Calc 1 and you fully expect to pass the course this semester, which I hope everybody does, then you would select option 1 when you're registering, and you only need to purchase the book for 18 weeks. But if you're going on to Calc 2, Calc 3, you might want to spend just a little bit more money and get the life of the edition, in which case you will already have your textbook when you go into Calc 1 and Calc 2. When I say textbook, I mean access to the online, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. So let's just go through here. Graphing calculators are nice. They are absolutely not required. Honestly, Desmos is the best graphing software you could use. It is free, www.desmos.com. You will find you'll be using this a lot throughout the course. You do not get it on tests, so you cannot use a graphing calculator on your exams. Basic scientific is all that is really needed for this class. And of course, you're in this class. It is assumed that you have successfully completed pre-calculus, both 1 and 2. Basically, we will have 4 exams. Now, our exams are taken in person at the RVCC Testing Center. I know this is an online course, but we do not have the software to monitor you taking these exams at home. So if you can't, or if you're not anywhere near the RVCC Testing Center, you, of course, are free to find a testing center near your location. You will need to email me the information so I can approve it. And then you will need to work with that testing center so that I can send them directly the materials for your exams. We will be doing group labs, and the group labs are mandatory. You cannot do the labs on your own. We'll talk about those in a minute. They are worth 15%. You'll get these weekly concept check forum posts. This is just general questions. Did you read through the notes, watch the videos? Have you read through the textbook? Just some questions I ask. You do not need to answer anyone else's questions, but you will certainly be free to see everybody's response after you have responded. Your math lab homework. This is worth 10%. This is, everybody should get 100 on this by the end of the semester, because you're going to work at that until you get every problem correct, and then a cumulative final exam. So, as you can see, this is a calculus course, and it is very exam heavy, your grades. There's a breakdown of grades. This is something you can just go ahead and read on your own. I'll talk about each of these things. I want to scroll down to, so each of these weeks will line up with a module. So there will be a week 1 module. I'll show you in a minute that'll have all this information on it. Basically, these problems in the textbook, you do not need to do those. Just the textbook, sorry, highlighted everything. These pages, these are just extra practice. If you've completed all the math lab and you want extra practice, I recommend going to these pages and trying some of these problems. I really recommend doing the odd problems because you will have access to a student solution manual in my math lab where all of the odd problem answers are fully worked out for you, not just the answers, but the problems. So during week 1 and 2 kind of go together because week 1 is so short. You will be working on this lab, which is due February 3rd, and you will be completing My Math Lab 2.1, 2.2 to 2.4, and so on and so on. So it's really helpful to print this schedule so you have it. Let's take a look at the modules and let's see what else we have. So here is your course information. If you click on Testing Center, you will get a link that'll take you directly to the Testing Center website. They do occasionally change their hours, so I strongly suggest you look at that. You will get a range of dates for every test, so please check the Testing Center website to see what hours they are opened. This is the college's withdrawal and refund schedule, just there for your convenience. Okay, accessing your textbook. So you will click over here. Please note what used to be called My Lab and Mastering is actually now called Access Pearson, and you can see right here this Access Pearson button. So you can read through these directions, just keeping in mind where it says My Lab and Mastering, it is Access Pearson. Once you are set up, this will take you directly to your Pearson account, which you will need to set up. So for me to access, let me get here. For me to access, I need to actually leave student view for a second and just show you. Some of you have worked with My Math Lab before. Here we go. And open. So you will have to go through some steps to register and to pay. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You can purchase the registration code through the bookstore, through that bright wave at the top of the modules. The most cost-effective, as long as you are not on financial aid, is just to do it directly through the publisher because you will not be paying that bookstore markup. Just a little hint. So in Math Lab, here is your full e-textbook. What you want to do is you can click Open My e-text, and you'll have full access to the textbook. The other thing you have here is a video and resource library. So for example, suppose we're starting derivatives and we are looking at, I don't know, the chain rule. And you've watched my videos and you've done your math lab problems, you're still confused. You can click here and it'll give you all sorts of resources. It'll give you some very detailed PowerPoint slides. And it'll give you the publisher video lectures, not my videos, but it'll give you some examples that you can review. This is great if you are struggling with any of the concepts. And of course, in here will be listed all of your homeworks and when they are due. You can access your homework both through Access Pearson. Whoops, sorry. That just took me because I'm in my course. I'm trying to get to where I can actually see the assignments. It's not going to happen. That's okay. You can access your homework here, or you can access it directly through Canvas. The advantage of accessing the homework through your Access Pearson link is you get a full screen. When you'll see in a minute when you go through Canvas, you get a smaller screen. So please take the time to get registered, and if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Sorry. Let's go back to our course. Here we are. And let's go back to modules and see what else we have. So please take the time to register and get all your course information. Your labs, this is just some information regarding your labs, and here's some things for you to read through if you don't understand why we're doing group labs. Group labs are pretty important for you, anyone transferring onto a 4-year. I know, for example, if you're going for Rutgers, they demand group work for almost every course, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot get out of doing group work. So this is a good practice of how to do group work online. And I do give you some tips of working with your group. Once your groups are set, I provide a lab group discussion post. Everyone is required initially to say hello to your group members and to discuss within that post how you are going to keep in touch. This is good for me to know that every group member has participated and is involved. You do not need to continue with those lab groups discussion posts. This is just, again, for me to say, hey, every member of group 3 has been in touch with each other, and they're going to go use a whole different format to staying in touch through the semester, and that is perfectly fine. Some students literally do labs through text. They constantly, can take pictures of their work, send it to each other in a group chat, and work on it that way. Only one member turns it in, so please read through that, and more information will come in announcements. Review resources. So not everybody remembers how to factor, how to graph sine and cosine graphs, polynomial functions, trig identities, all that great stuff that's going to really help you succeed in calculus. So here's just some reviews. This is a nice little pre-calc review. It's not graded. It's something you can do on your own. It has an answer key, trig identities, a completed unit circle. None of these things will you have on an exam. These are kind of, you'll see throughout the course what the expectation is and what you need to know, but you can kind of refer back here if you're missing anything. Okay. So like I said earlier, I do put week 1 and week 2 together because week 1 is so short. So everything here is due on February 3rd. You should introduce yourself, get to know who's in the class. I always post the lab for that week. Some labs are a week, some labs are 2 weeks. And your discussion group to get to start with the lab, to talk about the lab and how you guys are going to work through it. Now, every section has some notes. They are PowerPoint notes that I kind of created. They're part publisher, but a little less detail. I take out all the fluff. And then there's a video. These particular videos are from me teaching the content to an in-person class. Some students find them a little long. You can fast forward through parts where I'm having the class work on problems. Other students have really enjoyed these videos because it made them feel like they were in the class. This is what I have available for you. And you will see that when you click, it clicks right to the video, and I think it'll help you immensely. And then the homework, and this kind of follows a pattern. So notes for 2.3, there's 2 videos for 2.3, and then you're going to work on the homework. You'll kind of go through this throughout the week. As you're doing that, however you and your group members decide to work on the lab, you keep working on the lab, get together, compare answers. Just make sure that when you are done, one group member does turn in that particular lab. So you're submitting, you can see here, there will be a way to submit the file upload. When the file is uploaded, I will give comments on the lab itself. Everybody in your group will be able to see those comments, and everybody in your group will get the same grade. Okay, so take your time, kind of go through all that. And you'll see again, these weeks will just coincide. Week 3, you'll start lab 2, which will be due February 10th. And then when it is time for a test, I will give you some information about the test. I'll give you some practice problems for the test. It is not meant to mimic what the test is going to look like. It's just some practice problems. And then this just tells you, you don't need to click on this, that you can take the test anywhere between February 11th and February 13th in the RVCC Testing Center. Everybody gets 2 hours for their test. So from February 11th to the 13th. So that happens to be, I'm just looking on my calendar. Let me see. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And then you can come up here and look at the RVCC website to see when the testing center will be open on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I always pick enough days so that there is at least one night. These are the current hours. Please note, these hours will change once the semester begins. So this is why it's really important, because they're changing their hours all the time. And as you can see right now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it's only open till 6 p.m. But once the semester begins, one of these days will be open till 8 p.m. You need to show up 2 hours before the testing center closes to get the full 2 hours. If you show up with only an hour left, you will have to sign a disclaimer stating, yes, I know I only have an hour to take this particular test. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, please, I will send announcements. I'm not going to click on that right now because I have some announcements set to be sent to you. I will send announcements regularly to keep in touch with you. These are really important. Please make sure every time I send an announcement, you read it, or always check announcements when you get on to see if there's any new announcements from me. Okay, as always, just reach out if you have any questions. Please use the inbox in Canvas to send me an email. If you use this inbox, it lets me know exactly what course you're emailing it from. I have 6 courses I'm teaching this semester. So by using the inbox, it'll let me know exactly what course you're emailing me from. If you just use Outlook email, unfortunately, sometimes it could get lost with some other emails, so I strongly recommend you do not use Outlook. I will automatically get an email to my Outlook anyway. Always contact through the inbox in Canvas. Look, I look forward to a great semester. I am here if you need anything. Just ask, and I wish you all the best.